broadcast to Facebook. We are live. Here we go. Webinar is being recorded,
Uh,
Ridgely, so be careful what you
You
say.
know what? And while people are joining, I want to share something with you, Hubert,
Okay, good.
because you periodically appreciate an IPA, right?
Oh, yeah, I do. Yes.
Okay. So I was walking through Total Wines,
Okay.
clearly one of my favorite stores of all time.
Yes. You normally don't like to shop, but you make an exception for that place, I know.
I make an exception for Total Wines. And I saw a Jameson crafted from a barrel of an IPA.
Oh, there you go. Yes.
The
Yes.
Jameson IPA, not regular Jameson IPA. Just want to
Yeah.
let you know.
And it goes the other way too. There are IPAs that are finished in caskets that were previously used for distilling and so forth.
Wow. See, that's why you have to have Hubert on here. You got the masters on here. I see Natalie's on. She's a master too. You get the masters on, and they just like go
Flavor
to town.
goes both ways.
Great to
Right.
see
So
Paul and
welcome everybody. We see Anna, we see Bob, we see Art, we see
more
Jackie,
people coming on, and some
Jim,
folks we haven't
Matt,
seen for a little while. Paul and Joan, great to see
Paul
you.
and Joe.
Jackie, of course, Jackie, my favorite. Good to see you as well.
Yes.
Yep, Dr. Art's here for sure. BD's here in the house. Anna's with us as well. Man, lots of people coming on. This is great. Um, man, we had a huge number of people on our last match. You remember that, Hubert?
Yes, that was our open house. That was our open house. We had quite the open house attendee. And that was awesome because, a lot of them took advantage of your call and spoke to you. Some good
Yeah, no,
stuff.
no. And I love doing those calls, man. Whatever we can do to help people is great. I had a great time chatting with Greg and Antonia, who've been with us since forever.
That's awesome.
And they had a banner year last year and trying to do some stuff to replicate it this year. So very, very cool. All
Yes.
right. So
Awesome. That's great. Now, I just still want to share a couple of top of mind type of things. So, if I may, and then we'll go on with our normal type of stuff. So, in the last couple of days, I don't know how many days straight, actually, Ridgely and I have been doing some kind of like uh, AI boot camp type things at the corporate level for folks that are just getting into AI. Okay. And one of the themes that I kept hitting that I think is worth repeating here is that not only is it okay that you're just jumping into it now, you actually have an advantage of embracing AI now that it's gotten to this level, because then you won't be concerned or confused or waylaid by some of the growing pains that have accompanied earlier phases of AI. Okay. And I dare say that for most people, if you're trying to learn about AI and you're seeing all this tech stuff and programming stuff and this stuff, and you're like, oh my God, you're really barking up the wrong tree. Even for technical people, I say that that's the wrong place to start. The right place to start, before you understand how the car works, is how to drive the car. Right. And so Ridgely and I have been going over prompt engineering basics with people. And Ridgely, we probably should review our prompt creator prompt, because not only did it give you and I our breakthrough, but it's being recognized more and more and more as like, holy smokes, that's the way to do it. And let me just say this. What I'm getting at is Ridgely always shows his demos with this incredibly badass self-ranking prompt creator. And if we have a volunteer to, go through that, that would be awesome. On the other hand, Ridgely, I also in these sessions have stated that it's also great to use AI for very mundane tasks where you don't need that. I have increased my personal productivity a lot by asking AI to reformat this without the bullets, reformat this, and take out all the weird capitalization and standardize the capitalizing. And it works super quick and super easy. And of course, for that kind of stuff, you don't need these fancy prompt creators. Your thoughts, Ridgely?
yeah, yeah, I wanted to. It's so funny you would say that. I know that this happens, and by the way, I hope this happens with you and your partners as well. That sometimes we are so in sync, because I have two examples that I wanted to share.
Great.
One that talked about your second point, and one that talked about the first point.
Excellent.
And we have not reviewed this, but what's really bothering me is that the black clock of the cat is not working. What is up with that?
Yeah, this guy. Oh, sorry. I got switched around. This guy, these are the famous, okay, so these are the famous Kit Kat clocks. Okay, they're American made, but they're extremely temperamental. Okay, and the reason why I have two is because like okay, so I'm 60 years old. So 55 years ago, I used to go to my kid doctor, pediatric doctor, and he had one
Mhm.
of these on his wall. And so I said to my sister, "Oh boy, remember those Kit Kat clocks?" And then I started getting these as gifts. So I got this one, and I got that one, but they're very temperamental. If the slightest thing is off about the insides of it, it just doesn't work. So this guy's in a state of repair right now, and I'm trying to figure out, how really to get this guy started up again and all of that. So I'm working out. I reordered parts, and look, it works a little bit, but then the second you hang it up, it stops working. So that's with these Kit Kat clocks.
Okay, now that is such a classic, unbelievable master thing. Like if it were me and the clock didn't work, I'd
Uh-huh.
put a new battery in. If the new battery didn't work, I would order a new one because there's this thing called Amazon. It's like amazingly effective. And I have a Prime account, and I'd be like, Psh, I am done. I am
How
so
many
not.
how
But
many
but
American made clocks can you find these days? Not many.
Hubert is going to go in there and figure out how to change the pieces of the TikTok clock to see how. See, that's like what? Okay, fine, man, fine. All right.
Okay, now speaking of that, I know we're all always been excited about AI and everything else, but I reminded Ridgely today that this special session of the month called Mind Types After Dark would be a perfect time to revisit some of the basics about the mind types. And so I know that probably due to the email tone that I took this time, I promised that we would review some of the basic mind type stuff. So after we get all excited about AI and stuff like that, we're gonna ask Ridgely if he can just bring us back to some of the mind types basics.
What I want to do with that, in regards to that, and assuming we have time, is I want to talk about how different mind types interact with each other. Not what the mind types are. We're going to make that. We're going to make the assumption that everybody on this call knows that already, at least a little bit. But what we don't talk about often enough, I think, is how the different mind types interact with each other and how you can take advantage of that for
That's
your
awesome.
business and your team.
Yes, we
Okay.
haven't done that in a while, and that'd be awesome.
Okay. So what we are going to do though is we're going to do what we talked about just a little bit ago, and I'm going to share my screen, and I'm going to go into what Hubert mentioned and show a very simple application of AI to get us to, again, one of the things that you keep hearing from us is keep thinking, how does the tool help my business? What else can I do? How can I use this for simple stuff? So I had a situation today that was a very charged situation because one of the things that we do very, very well is organic traffic, search engine optimization. And we only do it in very specific niches. The only place we play in SEO is in local businesses that are geographically located, and we know that we can dominate a local geographic scope. Um, and I knew that I had to talk to a client who was weighing paid traffic versus organic traffic. Because paid traffic, in a lot of ways, which I'll show you in a second, is a lot easier to evaluate. You spend this much money, you get this much back. That's it. Whereas organic traffic or SEO is you invest, you invest, you invest, the rankings go up, then people show up, and then you have to convert them. But the difference is if you turn off paid traffic, every benefit goes away immediately. If you really rank well, it lasts a long time. So both sides of the coin make sense. And you'll see what the conclusion was of AI about this. But let me show you a very, very simple thing that you can do. So what did I do? I said, wait a second. I was literally getting down. I was going back to my old ways of doing things, Hubert Lee. And I was, okay, I opened up a Google Doc and then, oh no, it should be a Google spreadsheet. And then I wrote paid, organic, advantages, disadvantages. And I said, what am I doing? Why am
Right.
I trying to figure that out when AI could do that for me better than I could really fast?
Yes.
So I went to ChatGPT and I said, you are an expert researcher in online advertising. Please compare paid traffic versus organic traffic and give me the top 10 advantages and disadvantages of each. Perhaps put this in an easy to read table. Very straightforward. Something that I could have said to an intern working in my office
Mm-hmm.
if I needed it, right? That would have taken them a day, half a day at least. And it took instead about 35 seconds. So ChatGPT comes back. Comparing paid traffic and organic traffic involves looking at two fundamentally different approaches to online marketing. Paid traffic refers to visitors that come to your website as a result of paid advertising campaign, such as PPC, display, social media. Organic traffic, on the other hand, refers to visitors who find your website through unpaid search results, which can be enhanced through search engine optimization techniques. And then it gave me the top 10 things that the entirety of the internet reveals to us as being most relevant: speed, scalability, targeting, visibility, testing, control, budget management, analytics, brand exposure, flexibility, disadvantages, and gave me the whole thing in no time flat, enabling me to then show up for the conversation with our client about this issue as an expert, right? Really important to understand this, because I could have spent several hours to come up with something that only would have had what I had in my brain, as opposed to, wait a second, let's talk about it. And then here's the beautiful thing: the conclusion that was drawn by an independent source, an objective source, in this case, AI, was exactly the conclusion that I wanted the client to see. Check this out. This table highlights the key differences between paid and organic traffic, each with its own set of advantages and disadvantages. The choice between the two should be based on your specific business goals, budget, and timeline. Of course, that's just logical.
Mm-hmm.
However, the final sentence is the one to focus on. Often a balanced approach that leverages both paid and organic strategies is the most effective in achieving comprehensive online marketing success.
Yeah.
Which gave me the opening to say, so exactly as we've been talking about, you need both. And it took nothing. So we need to really be thinking about what are the easy applications that can save you a ton of time if you just think, I have this new tool called AI, and you
Right.
use it on a regular basis. Hubert
Yeah.
Lee, your thoughts on that?
No, for sure. And also, folks, Ridgely said the intern or he may spend a couple of hours on this. That's just a couple of hours. Ridgely, you're not even talking about the half hour or 1 hour of fiddling with formats. Is it oh, I started it as a Google Doc. Oh, it actually should have been a spreadsheet. So let me spin up Google Sheets. But then now it's stuck in Google Sheets. And how do I compare and cut and paste it into an email? Folks, put it in the ChatGPT and think of it as a virtual assistant that's going to do all your formatting for you, right? That never gets tired, that's, super patient, and just say, no, 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 please format this in us, export this as a CSV file, whatever you need. It's there for you. Okay. And folks, let me also say this. I've gotten back to basics and started fooling around with the free AIs. Okay. The Copilot, the Bard, the Bing, the 3.5 ChatGPT. Now, originally, I know that you and I like the granularity and the cutting edge of all the advanced tools, but the free stuff is just getting better and better and better.
For sure. It is absolutely. Jackie Simmons says, I love that. State Director says, AI is faster than originally. Say it isn't so. And Bridget Callahan says, it's not so. No, no, no. Okay, fine. Yes,
Oh,
I'm sorry. It really is. Let me.
since Bridget has surfaced here, you don't need to share with the entire group here, but please ping me, Bridget, with the inside story of how things are going for you, and you know what I mean. So thank you. I'm very interested in knowing. I'll share with Ridgely.
Okay, so I want to share a couple of other things because these examples really help all of us understand how the tool works. So yesterday we were in a session and I did a bunch of work and I was trying to get AI to convert. Wait, hold on a second. I got to go back to the right thing here. Uh, AI to take content that we were making, use Michelangelo to create an image for me. And it just was not working. It would not cooperate, etc. Hey, it was all about, by the way, creating policies about workers training at heights. And Natalie's on the call with us, so she was there during that session as well. I kept trying using Michelangelo, etc. And I had to keep playing with it until Hubert said, wait, stop. Just grab something, open up a new tab and go to a new tab and put in the same instruction. And this is a really important note for everybody. Sometimes you just got to start over fresh because AI might not cooperate. So I went in, did the same thing, and look at this beautiful image that it created about working at heights. This generated image captured both scenarios, one stick figure standing on a high platform representing working in heights and another in a classroom symbolizing
Very
training.
cool. That's very cool. Oh, Ridgely, let's just stop and just show that drop down, ChatGPT 4, and let's just show that Ridgely used the stock option of ChatGPT 4. So this is just using, it's built-in DALL-E. So rather than taking the advanced route of doing plugins with the various this, that, and the other thing, Ridgely is just using the DALL-E ChatGPT 4. Now, what Ridgely also discovered, and I'm sure many of you may have experienced this already, Ridgely, when you share one of these chats with DALL-E enabled and they generate an image, you won't be able to share it.
That's correct. So if you're doing some work in AI and you're generating a lot of text, before you start to generate an image, create the link. Let me again share with everybody how you do that. So right here, this little icon in the top right, that's how you go to create a link. Now watch this. Sharing conversation with images is not yet supported, right? So you can't do that yet. So if you're doing some work and you want to make sure you capture your work, capture it before you start generating images or you are going to be out of luck. All right. So I want to go to the other piece, which is using the prompt creator to do stuff. So yesterday, I want to go through walk you through the process of how to work with your clients or with yourself. Because sometimes it's just not clear until you get in there and mess around. So we were working with Natalie and some of her team members, and one of the people who had requested a training from us on how to use AI. Now, these are very, very smart people. Obviously, Natalie's company, Team Group, is a huge company, very successful, great people, really love them a lot. And they requested a meeting to understand how this thing works. And so, again, we went to prompt creator first, and we're now working with the person who's in charge of safety for the company, which is a global company in multiple countries all over the world, who literally just returned from China a few days ago. So we said, okay, what's the prompt? You're an expert in industrial safety processes, procedures, policies, charged with creating a new policy. Great. What do we get? A 6, because this is very, very light in terms of data and information for AI. So we go through the process, and then client says, well, I just want to be in construction in Ontario. So that's Ontario, Canada, we're talking about. Regulation should be included for working at heights. Gets us to a 7. Why? Because it's still nowhere near enough data or information to really help AI. So we went through the process, and then we said, okay, align with construction regulations, health and safety related, etc., include training requirements and fall protection equipment. Great. We got to an 8. I'm giving you a play-by-play. So you, especially if you run an agency or you have clients or you're a coach or you're whatever, this is how you work with someone else. to help them craft the prompt that is going to give you the right results. So then we said, okay, frequency of training, end of year training, what's it be? In other words, we go a little further, we get to a 9. All right, and we keep going, we keep iterating. What else can we do? The trainers are certified by the Ministry of Labor and reviewed on an annual basis, frequent inspections. Great. Takes us to a 10. All right. So first of all, don't put the pressure on yourself to get to a 10. You get to a 9 or above, you're good. You're in great shape. I take it personally, but that's just because I'm, a nutcase about this stuff. So then it says, let me run the prompt. Watch this. It said ChatGPT comes back and says, hey, since the prompt is to assist me in creating a policy, let's clarify how we can proceed. Given the nature of the task, I can provide guidance, outline a structure, or draft sections. How would you like to proceed? So you've got to answer the tool, outline a complete structure for the policy first. And then it gives me introduction, legal framework, training requirements, fault protection, rescue plans, policy, site inspections, policy review, incident documentation, appendices. Okay, so now when I'm serving my client, we say, okay, cool. Now that we have the summary, if you will, the structure, flesh out the introduction. Part 1, about 300 words. And now you get a complete fleshing out of part 1. Great. Do the same thing for section 2. Legal framework. And look, it pulled up all of the regulations that the expert client knew about and was wondering, does ChatGPT, does AI know enough to pull up the proper regulations? 21391, CSA Z259, etc. And then I went on, great, now do section 3. And I did not have to go through the whole process, because at this point it was about largely sharing what AI can do to help the person develop the policy, because obviously they've got to do the work, they've got to vet it, they've got to make sure it's in compliance, they got to make sure that all the legal is taken care of. So then I said, okay, great, let's go on to where there's data and information about that. Oh, it's going to be on ontario.ca, as in Ontario, the province in Canada. Use Web Pilot, and there you have all these services. Well, that doesn't really help us, but we went on to then go from there to say, let's visit the proper page, et cetera, go deeper and deeper and deeper. And at the end, our client, which is not Natalie's department, but one of the other departments, was like, wow, thank you very much. That was really effective. So there you have super easy, hey, run me a comparison of paid versus organic, or write me a policy about working at heights in Ontario, Canada, that includes protection equipment, things that I know absolutely nothing about, but AI does. So if I learn how to use the tool and tap into that giant brain, I can serve my client and actually, do some really, really good work in the process. Hubert?
Oh, that's excellent. So let me also share the disclaimer that I shared with this group and all of you. The speed of which the AI can produce the output is astounding. What may not be super astounding and is hard for quote unquote non-subject matter experts to distinguish or to discern is whether or not it's actually correct. So I always say, listen, you're in your position because of subject matter expertise. You know more than AI about it, in that you need to be the final arbiter as to the discernment of, is this good or is it garbage? Right? And so the AI can help you magnify your own expertise, but it's subject to hallucinations, wrong data, this, that, and the other thing. You need to always take it as, oh, my assistant gave me this. I need to review it, and does it pass muster with myself?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. We have the pleasure of having a mastermind with people of, I'm not going to say of a certain age, but of a certain experience and maturity and expertise in their own subject matter. And you are smarter than your AI assistant, right? It's called an AI assistant because it's your assistant. So whereas Ridgely and I say, oh, this is super cool, isn't that great? And everybody's like, oh yeah, I always pipe in with saying Ridgely, but you got to check to see, is this true or not true?
Yeah, and Dr. Jean comes in and says, that's precisely what I'm doing. Some of the topics I'm asked to create, I know nothing about, but the SMEs, subject matter experts, who review it say it's better than what they could produce. That's the point, team. This giant brain that's out there called artificial intelligence is actually really intelligent. And if we just use the tool, the output that we can get for ourselves or our clients is flat out phenomenal. So, Hubert, anything more from you? Because we have a request to create
Yes. Yep.
content.
Right. Before we check that, let me just mention a couple of things in the chat. So Jackie's asking, how do we cross-check AI's references? Okay, so some AI tools are more rigorous than others to provide sources. Okay, Bing's stuff is especially good. You know, it'll give you the the citations and stuff like that. I would always say, if you're acting as a consultant for somebody else, you let them decide, is this good? Is this bad? Is it indifferent? Whatever. Okay. If it's in your specialty area and your expertise, Jackie, you're the expert among certain things, right? Teen suicide. Like, I would believe you over AI any day of the week. You are eminently qualified to say this is good, this is not so good, this is dangerous, everything else. Right? That's how you basically check. The other thing I want to mention, Ridgely, is
Well, let me jump in on that real quick before
yeah,
you go further.
okay.
Jackie, however, why in the world wouldn't you want to dig a little deeper to see if you are right according to yourself? Right? In other words, check with, oh, I think this, let me see what else is out there. I think this, let me see if that confines the same way in a culture that is not mine. Fact check yourself. Like, does that apply to a culture in India, for example, where they have a very different view of the world than we do? Does it apply beyond the 50 states of the US border, for example? Because da, da, da. In other words, there's no reason not to say, yes, I am a subject matter expert in this area. However, man, I could get even a lot smarter if I tap into what's available to me and bring that in. That's the part that I find absolutely fascinating. All my team members here on the mastermind, you can be so smart at so much because of this crazy tool. So what are you doing? What are you using it for is the big, huge question. Sorry, go ahead, Hubert.
That's a great point. I just want to address also Richly Natalie's question here, and if anybody has input, please jump in. She said, one issue I'm having in general sometimes is getting AI to search or read a document. It's hit or miss for some reason. I've toggled between ChatGPT 4 and the web search plugins, anyone else. So the answer is yes. The other thing I've noticed related to that, Natalie, is that on any given day, I I suppose it's because of demands on the server architecture and so forth. If it seems a little slow or the spinner seems to be going a little longer than usual, check the status page of OpenAI and see what's going on. Lately, Ridgely, I don't know if you've noticed, but I've noticed that like if it's a little slow to respond, there's a problem with the system. So there could be a problem with the system, there could be a problem with the plugin. Your best bet, Natalie, is to actually, even though we prefer OpenAI's ChatGPT, just do a little extra stuff on the side with Bard or Copilot or any of the other ones, just to kind of see what you get. And related to that, the thing that Richly and I like to do is to cross-check by going across AI platforms. Take the output from your ChatGPT session, spin up Bard or Copilot or one of these other ones, throw it in there and say, hey, can you give me your opinion on this? How can I make it better? Blah, 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 whatever. Throw it in there and see what you get. Think of this, we're fond of saying this. Think of AI as a giant mastermind. Let's say you join the mastermind. Okay, there's Ridgely, there's Hubert, there's everybody else on here. Just because we're in the mastermind, you don't take what we say as gospel, right? You don't take all of Hubert's jokes as extremely funny, although they are extremely funny. You don't take it without putting your own context into it, right? Same with AI. What you get may be true, may not be true. And that seems shocking to say, but originally, how many times have we gotten stuff out that we're like, something's not quite right here? I mean, that's just the way it is.
Which is why, to your point, it is so important to use AI in your zone of genius, in your subject matter expertise. For example, Dr. Art saying, I'm writing an authority book to introduce myself to new audiences. Perfect. But don't be writing an authority book on something you don't know about, because I guarantee you're going to get some garbage output. When you're
Right.
writing an authority book about what you know about, that's the perfect usage of AI, because it's going to enhance and expand, amplify, magnify what you know and not take away from. You
Yes.
start writing, an authority book on how to cook, Indian cuisine in hot climates, and you know nothing about that, man, you better be good at something to do that, to spin in something, because I'm telling you, it ain't going to work out that well.
Exactly. Now, related to that, Rishi, this will be of extreme value to not only Dr. Art, but everybody else on this call. I'm going to ask you to tell this short story without naming names on any platforms. Okay. The reason why I say that is because, folks, in today's world of AI, you can put a year of development into something that you think is totally unique, and then wake up tomorrow and see that functionality you can do in ChatGPT for free or anything else. So this is not exactly a risk-free zone to go and create like a whole thing, right? But Ridgely wrote a book using a proprietary AI platform, okay, which we're not going to name names, but I'm going to ask Ridgely to explain or tell us what it was like to use AI to actually write a complete book. We're not talking about like a 2,000 word ebook. This was like a legit book with a zillion chapters and everything else. So Ridgely, tell us what that was like without like naming names.
Okay, so it was 25,000 words, and it took
And,
me.
and I'm sorry to interrupt, Ridgely. This just to set the base. This is from a man who's written, was it 17 books manually?
19.
19 books. So this is from a recognized published author who knows about writing books and his
Yes, I've
experience with using AI.
written all the books, all the different ways. I personally prefer what I think is the hardest way to do it for my first 19 books. Um, and my 20th book we wrote with AI. I was blessed to be brought into a prototype book writing system from a guy who is incredibly smart, who said, "Well, you want to be in my beta?" And I'm like, "Sure." And the book just created prompts. Okay, how many chapters do you think it should be? It should be this. How long should each chapter be? Great. Do you need an intro section? Sure. Would you like a quote at the top of each chapter? Yes. Would you like to? I mean, it just kept going. But then, like, the coolest thing was the book was about authenticity and building trust. And so when it said, would you like a quote? I could answer that, hey, give me quotes on authenticity for every one of my chapters. And it went out and found the quotes from, Maya Angelou, Nelson Mandela, whoever, Martin Luther King. I mean, they just kept finding stuff and saying, is this one okay? Is this one okay? And it would compare certain ones. And I went through the process, followed along, wrote the story. It took me, because I wanted to make sure that I calculated this correctly, a little over 5 hours to write 25,000 words. And it's good. Now, do I now have a book? Yes, I do. Do I have a book that I'm totally happy to put out yet? No. I actually need to do the work of going back in there and editing and playing and stuff. But maybe that's going to take me another 5 hours. That's 10 hours to write a polished piece of 25,000 words. That's what's possible with AI today. So thanks, Hubert, for bringing that up. But yeah, crazy.
I find it richly amusing and ironic that you wrote a book about authenticity using artificial intelligence.
Yeah, I know. I know that there is that too, right? But I don't see why there's any reason we can't share the resource, though. Is that okay with you? I mean, I know it'd be okay with the guy who created it.
Yes, that would be fine, but I do say this with caution. And what I'm real and Dr. Jean dropped something about it in the comments there. Like, don't get caught up on any particular platform by name, because tomorrow it could be like a common functionality in your AI tool of choice.
So right now, here it is. Go check it out. Bookcooker.ai. That's the tool that I use to write a book. So,
Awesome.
all right.
Okay.
Here, what do you got for us?
No. You had said that you had a volunteer to run some prompts or something like that. So let's do that.
Oh, yeah.
Let's
Sure.
do that. But before we do that, how about a joke, Rich?
Okay, go ahead.
Okay. Rich, what do you call a pig that practices karate? Come on.
Chop Stewie.
Oh, you're close. Pork chop.
Okay, fine. Whatever. All right, we're going to find Dr. Jean and bring her up. She has some stuff that she wants us to work on, and we need some real content.
Real content, Rich. Why shouldn't you use a broken pencil? Why shouldn't you
What's
use a
that?
broken pencil? Because it's pointless.
So I was going to say, you need a little sobriety, but it's after dark. So I don't know if I.
Yeah, there you go. I'm telling you, I like that. The broken pencil, because it's pointless, is pretty good, actually.
That looked like bourbon, Dean.
Oh, yeah, in a square glass. Is there any other way to have it, Hubert? Come on.
No. Look, mine is in an art.
Oh, no. That's not what the president of the Bourbon Club of America.
Mine has a G on it because my son-in-law gave it to me for Christmas.
Oh, there you go.
Dr. Jean,
Okay.
mine comes in plastic.
Oh,
right.
no. Mine is now empty.
Okay. Well, all right, people. Can we get back to work over here? Mind Types After Dark. We love it. Gene, what are you doing? What are you looking for?
So, I know nothing about being able to write a Facebook ad. And so I go to the PAF Brain and it drops it in and it gives me an ad. And I'm like, well, this looks good to me, but I got some people telling me that it doesn't look so good. So how do I know? It's not a skill set I have.
Well, so Ridgely, so actually, let me just say this.
Yeah, I'll let Hubert run with this one. Go for it.
Yeah. I'm setting Ridgely up, okay? Because the answer is not so much the particular ad. The answer is actually the testing of the ad, of which Ridgely.
So I do an A and a B, so I have a split test. But if it's crap to begin with, then you're going to get crap results.
No. Well, so here's the thing. Ridgely and I have spent a lot of time and money, and Ridgely has all kinds of stories from his cohorts in these advanced masterminds. Advertising is not easy. What gets traction and a lift, and I'm just going to give my 20-second spiel on A/B testing.
Hey, wait, I'll time it.
Yes. So, Dr. Jean, you and I are of like minds. We would be like, based on our years of study and this and that, like heuristically, like this is based on our approach. This is going to be like converting well. Okay. Ridgely is going to say, okay, trust but verify. Test A this against B this. And then you put it in there, you look at the stats, and does it provide a lift in the conversion or it doesn't? If it doesn't, you switch another B and test against A. If it does, B becomes A and you go find C and then you test against that and you keep lifting. Okay. What Ridgely and I spent a lot of time realizing is what you and I think might convert better may not necessarily be what comes better. And at the end of the day, do you want to be right or do you want to be happy? Right?
I go with happy. Happy is always better than right.
Now here's where I'm going to pass it to Ridgely, because Ridgely is like the king of like, let's let the data decide.
So first of all, I just want to share the numbers. So I am headed tomorrow morning, getting up at 4:00 a.m. and headed to Las Vegas to Flight Club. Flight Club is one of the premier masterminds in digital marketing. And most of you who are digital marketers know some of these names. It's Roland Frazier, Matt Boggs, Mike Filsaime, Mike Koenigs, Ryan Dice, Barry Belcher. I mean, these are the giants, right? And I'm blessed to be a part of that group that I can learn stuff from. And I'll find out what is working now, what is not working now, what do we have to look at, what are we going to figure out. And I'll bring that data, of course, back to the mastermind. But the point here is I don't want to overthink this thing. I want to use AI to help me figure it out. So
Yeah.
Let's do the process that we talked about. Let's use Prompt Creator to help us create a prompt. And then let's run your Facebook ad against what the prompt comes up with and
I don't
see what.
have one to show you, so we're just going to create one. I don't have
Okay.
one to share.
All right, cool. That's fine. Not even necessary, but I just want to show everybody how to do this in real time because you can do this in real time. Here I am in ChatGPT. We are going to create a new space. I have way too many windows and stuff open, but that's okay. We're going to go there. We're going to go get our prompt creator.
And again, folks, prompt creator is the prompt that helps you create a prompt by self-rating the prompt and asking questions to improve the prompt before you run it.
So there's a question. What do you do when you're running this and it doesn't do its rating? It says you rate on a scale of 1 to 10. I'm like, what do you mean I rate on a scale of 1 to 10? It says right there that you do it. I get very annoyed with that. Don't laugh at me, Ridgely.
I'm sorry.
It does that time after time. I'm like, what the heck? This is Ridgely's. I'm not doing anything. It never does that when we're here, but it does it repeatedly for me.
Sorry, Gene. I don't know
Thanks.
why it does that to you. I think it likes you more than me. Obviously, with a deep
It finished my bottle of bourbon.
expertise in direct response marketing. You are charged with drafting a Facebook ad for a new client. What's it about?
So it's Start Lean, Finish Big is doing a boot camp for building a funnel, an automated funnel.
Building an automated funnel. Okay. That sells an automated funnel for any product or service
Yes.
to sell or promote online products or services. Now let's follow the process and let's just see. Okay, we're going to get going with that. We're going to get about maybe a 6 or 7. 6. There you go.
Oh. Mm-hmm.
And then I'm going to say, okay, great. Well, who's the target audience?
So the target audience is entrepreneurs who want to scale. The tone and style, friendly, approachable, unique features, AI enhanced. Benefits of the boot camp would be that it's a done with you, so it's a guide on the side kind of thing. And it's ethical and responsible integration of AI into their systems and processes.
Let's go with that first for a second.
All right.
It's going to get us to at least 8.5, I'm going to say. 8. All right, 8 to 8.5. Perfect. All right. Okay, how is AI going to enhance the experience?
So when our people leave, they're going to have an automated sales funnel. Examples of personalized guidance that we have interactive workshops, one-on-one coaching, have a community.
One sec. We'll leave with an automated funnel Examples include, give it to me again.
Of the personalized guidance, interactive workshops, one-on-one coaching, a
Guidance,
cohort community,
one-on-one coaching. What else? Sorry.
a cohort community,
Cohort community. Oops. Okay. Let's see if that gets us to a 9. I think it's maybe might be 8.5. We'll see. Got to 9. Perfect.
You know your prompt system, Ridgely.
You know, well, when you do it every day. Do we have any unique AI features? That's going to be a big one that's going to help us.
Mm,
You can talk about what the AI output should be.
it's fully automated. I don't know how else to say that. So their funnel is fully automated from end to end. So we use AI to create the content, the assets, and then the whole funnel is automated from beginning to end. Jackie, end to end means from beginning to end so that they won't have to interact with the funnel. Once it's all created, then it just runs itself.
Ah, okay.
Look, it's 10 for 10. We're good.
Right? Okay. So now watch what happens. We run the prompt. Wait. What's the CTA in the ad?
The CTA is to visit startleanfinishbig.com and they'll click on something there. So
Visit a website to register, to buy it, to sign up.
Yes.
Okay. Okay.
Originally a distinguished copywriter.
So I told Nehemiah to be here. He didn't do it.
That costs extra.
Okay.
The distinguished part?
Yeah.
Okay. Feature the following link, https / sorry, tell me again.
Startleanfinishbig.co.
Okay. Notice that even though I have a 10, I can still keep going, team. If everybody that's watching this, we had a 10. So normally you get to a 10, you run the prompt. But if you start to see how you could still improve the prompt, why wouldn't you do that? You still got a 10. Just keep iterating. It's okay.
I always point out the following too. When you look at the prompt, I look at it and I say, could I have written this myself? And the answer is always like no. Like there's no way I could have written that prompt.
One other thing I want to ask you, any kind of urgency thing, deadlines or limited spots that you want?
Thank you, Bridget. She says .com works. Maybe it's slfb.co and startleanfinishbig.com. So we'll go with .com. Thanks, Bridget, for the check. I appreciate that. Say it again, Ridgely.
Are there any urgency things we could include, like limited spots, deadlines?
Not right now. Let's go with this. I'm good. If we can fix the link, then that would be great. But I can do that post. It's fine.
All right, let's run it. See what we got. Yeah, because they just put the link as being a click through, so you can change that for sure. All right, so let's talk about, here's the ad. What feeling do you want this ad to have? What kind of
I want it
urgency?
to be compelling. I want it to be provocative. I want people to feel like, oh, wow, I hadn't thought of that. Yeah, sign me up.
So notice what I'm doing. Make it more provocative and cutting edge with an element of fear of missing out. You got to keep talking. You just keep talking.
So this puts them, Ridgely, into a 4-week boot camp where we do a done with you.
Hmm.
I don't know if that makes any difference. This is what Nehemiah and I are doing. So this is a follow-up to what we did before, right?
Perfect. So now the key here is to look at this and say, what do I love? What do I not love? What could I do differently? Where could I tweak this?
That's right. That whole bespoke thing is like, nobody really says that, right?
So that's an easy one. Write this again without using the words bespoke. Okay, that's easy. That's an
Mhm.
easy fix. But what else? What are the things that you're looking for? Do you want some dialogue in here? Uh, uh, do you want more questions in there that are provocative?
So Ridgely, if I knew how to write a Facebook ad, I would not have said, help me write a Facebook ad. I have no idea. That's why I'm asking.
Here we
This is
go.
a teachable moment. Teach me how to do this.
Okay, great. So we're going to do this. Ask me what I should be asking myself
Mhm.
to make this ad more effective.
I like that.
Right? See, again, here's the thing. I don't write Facebook ads either, Gene. All I'm doing is using the tool. So
Yeah,
now,
I'm expected to use the tool because I'm the content creator, but I'm like, I have no idea. So,
right? But now look at what you can do. I now have 10 points probably by the time they finish.
right, because it likes the number 10 or 12. I noticed 10, 12. Yeah.
So now I don't want to go through this whole process, it can take too long. But
Mhm.
look, you could go in here and say, who's the customer? What are the objections? What is the offering? How does it stand out? What emotions? And answer these one by one. So I could do this. I could say, great, let me answer these questions one by one to refine our output.
Mhm.
Great. Look at this. And now it's going to help me. You see what I'm doing? I'm literally, I'm not suggesting to you that I'm going to give you the best ad possible. I'm giving you the process to create the ad for anybody. And
That's
now,
all I want.
right? And
That works for me.
now you walk through it yourself and you're going to get a killer output by the end. And then
Right.
once you get the final output, you then say, hey, compare it versus this. What could make this better? And then you just keep going.
Or
Track
what I
with
do when I get to a place where I think I'm where I need to be, I'll ask for an A/B split test. And so I get two versions that I can test. But for this, I don't know how to. This helps a lot. This is great.
And
Fantastic.
can I also have a turn with the screen as well?
Well, of course, I could see Hubert over there like this. You knew he
He
was
knows
doing
he
something.
knows my facial expressions for when I'm prompting.
Here is here's the output from me. Um,
All right.
Gene,
So
into the chat, grab it. Anybody else that wants it too, I
yeah,
will stop share and turn it over to
I am going to share and show everybody the route that one could also take. Okay, the starting off with the push button simple route, which is Gene referenced this earlier. Going to PAF brain, you would simply leave the mode on enter URL. You would put in startleanfinishbig.com, select the latest model, that's 4 turbo, select from this world of opportunities here, Facebook ad, and you hit submit, and a couple of seconds later, you get this whole thing here, okay? Then you get this whole thing here, and then you go into ChatGPT, and you say, act as an expert Facebook ad copywriter. Analyze the following Facebook ad and optimize it for conversion. Ask me questions that's necessary to get the best performing ad. Here's the current draft. And I literally pasted all of this stuff, and then I hit enter, and it says, optimizing your Facebook ad copy for better conversion involves focusing on clarity, engaging confidence, blah, 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 whatever. Now, element by element, and this is where this is like participation, right? It tells you what the original was. It's suggesting this. It's telling you why. Step by step through the whole thing, it's telling you what the original was, what the why. And so you're using this as like an ad coach to then go through element by element, and then you decide, right? And then all the decisions that you make, just document it all so that you have all of these variants that you can test. Then it tells you, like, it asks you further questions. Who's the primary target? Top performance elements, blah, blah, on and on and on. And you just keep dialoguing. The beauty of this is that, like, yeah, not any of us here are Facebook ads experts, but here's a whole coaching system that it's wizard driven, and it will help you optimize your way to a Facebook ad. Now,
that is much more than I had when we started this. So for me, this is a win.
there
I
you
hope
go.
that it is for other people, because this is cool.
Right. So the concepts here is like that you may not get to 100 through the PAF brain, but you literally had to press one button, and you get a starting point, which then you take into ChatGPT and then ask it to, like, help you evolve this further by asking you questions, telling you what it thinks, blah, 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 and then dialoguing at that point. So that's how I always like using the push.
Hubert, you'll share that link too?
Yes, I will.
Awesome. Thank you.
Okay, awesome.
So
cool.
That was very cool, right? This is the thing, guys. It's all about really focusing on how do I begin to use the tool to do things that without the tool would be really much more difficult. And when you start thinking like that, like, I don't write Facebook ads, but I was able to write one for Elaine Gibson that was so emotional a couple sessions ago that people were crying on our mastermind. I saw the tears coming down, and Elaine contacted me afterwards and said, can you help me redo everything I've got? That just happened a couple of days ago. Hubert doesn't even know about this yet. But yeah, because it really is about how do you use the tool. You can be so much smarter, so much more on it if you learn how to use the tool, and then you become this new form of expert because this tool is so powerful. It is absolutely a game changer, team. It is so awesome to learn how to do this. And so anybody, again, please, thank you, Gene, by the way, for sure, bring us your stuff that you need. Support at partnerattractionformula.com. Send us an email saying, hey, we're ready for this. And we are reconvening, not next week, actually. We're going to, the following week, the 28th, and it's going to be at 2 o'clock Eastern time, 28th, 2 o'clock Eastern time. So bring us your stuff so that we can support you in whatever you need. And by the way, if somebody's watching this, I just want to mention this because I just got the idea that we have a couple of mastermind members who are in different time zones. Mm-hmm. If you have a question and something that you need us to work on, and you can't make the call, you can still submit the question. And you give us, the more details you give us, the more output we're going to give you. So yes, please, even if you're in Australia or South Africa, we have clients, just, please send us the stuff. Let us help you out. At the end of the day, what we're going to show you is a little bit of, yes, we'll give you the output, but the more important thing is, how do you get to the output? How do you educate yourself to make this happen? Hubert Lee, I'll leave the final words to you. I'm sure you have something to share.
Yes, I have some amusements for us. So Ridgely, we've had a crazy busy day. I've not yet eaten, so my thoughts turn to food. So I have two closing jokes about food. Richly, what do sea monsters eat?
Seaweed.
Close. Fish and chips.
Uh,
Richly, what did the tomato say to the other tomato during a race?
what did the tomato say to the other tomato during a race?
Yeah, and you got to tell this to your grandchildren because this one's a good one.
What
What
did
did
the tomato say to the
what
other
did one tomato say to the other tomato during a race?
Catch up.
Ridgely, after all these months, you finally got one, Ridgely. That's good. Yes,
That was
catch
good.
up.
Okay. All right, team. I appreciate you. I'm on my way to Flight Club tomorrow. I assure you I'm going to come back with stuff that's going to help us in all sorts of ways. So we'll see you on the 28th. Have a great week. And yeah, and Huey, I'll talk to you tomorrow. I'm
Thank
out.
you all.
All right. Bye for now. Ciao, guys.